Is the video for initial data for linear programming problems. Here on the left is a routine for the majority of the data. Over here on the right is another routine that's just for the price. And down here is the beginning of the random X list, which is a list of numbers from 0 to 9 random. Well, we'll start over here with the routine to build most of the data. First, it starts out setting the item count to 3, but then it wants to create an item count minus 1 because some of the times it's going to go 0 to the item count minus 1, which means it's going to go around the loop the item count number of times, but it starts from 0. Then here it sets the part count to 3, and it sets the maximum columns to 15. That's the offset that would be used to get from one row to another row. Then it fills 80 values that required with 0. It's starting all the requirements out as 0. Then it says fill the 3 values at on hand with 100. So in this case up here, we saw that there are 3 parts. Each is going to have 100 on hand. Then it sets H to 0 and K to 0. Then it goes around a loop for I of 1. And down here we see next I part count. So this is the outer loop. It's going to go around for every part. Then it says set L to H. Now up here H was 0, but here L is set equal to H. Now H is going to be used for the beginning of a row. So the outer loop is changing rows, so down here it increases H by 20. So this L is set at the beginning of a row each time. Then it says for J of 1, down here to next J, the item count. Okay, now it's going to go for every column. And it says set the required plus L, that's the beginning of a row, to the random digit at offset 20 and K. K started at 0, and it says plus 20, it's going to start at this 9. And you notice that the 9 is shown in red because it knew it was referred to in a program. So when you see a number in red on a listing, that means somewhere in the program it refers to that position. And here is where it refers to it. 20. 20. Right? So it gets a random number. And every time it puts a random number in required, it adds 1 to K. So next time it's going to be pointing here at the 2, and then the next time at the 6. Then it says add 1 to L. Well, it's doing the first row of numbers in required, so it just has to add 1 each time to change column. Then we see here where it changes H, so it changes the row, and then it sets the tableau number to 0, solve to 0, meaning it's not solved, and it sets show tableau to 1. That's the end of this routine that creates the required data and the on-hand data. Over here, it's going to define the price list. It starts out by saying reset because down here, Puck is referring to a random number listing. You have to reset it so it will start at the beginning of that list again. If you don't reset it, it's going to come down here, and when it sets S to the game number, it could be an entirely different place in the list. You want it to start at the same place all the time, so you get the same random numbers. Here it fills 20 at price with 0, just zeroing out all the prices. Set the frequency to 6. Now this frequency is going to be used for this Puck, which is get a random number without replacement, I like to say the U stands for unreplaced. We could have used an action peck for equally likely and pick for one that does frequencies, but they are replaced. That they're replaced. Okay, that would be a pick. This is a puck. They're unreplaced. Alright, so up here we put that 6 in here in the beginning of frequency, meaning there's 6 numbers in the frequency. And here it says fill numbers, 6 of them, at frequency plus 2 with a 1. What that's saying is that all 6 of the possibilities can only occur one time, because once it occurs, the 1 is taken away. That means no 2 prices are going to be the same. Then it sets S to the game number. Well, it wants each game to be different. So down here, when it does the puck to that frequency, it uses a different random number list. Depending on what the game number is, that makes the games different. So then it says for I of 0, down here next I to the item count minus 1. It's going to go around the item count number of times, but because it starts at 0, it has to go item count less 1. And there's for 1 at a time. So it gets the random number k. Then it adds 5 to it. Now k can go from 0 to 5. Then it adds 5 to it. It can go from 5 to 10. So the price here that's going to be put in price at offset I is going to be a value of k, which is going to be range from 5 to 10. Alright, then it's going to go around that loop for the item count, where I goes from 0 to the item count minus 1. Alright, this is the end of the video on initial data for the linear programming problems.